everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Thanks for joining me. Happy Saturday, everyone. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Kicking off the weekend with some readings. We're doing live readings on the channel. This weekend we're going to be doing tarot. So if you are joining me for the first time, you want a tarot reading, let me know. I'm going to tell you guys how to do that. A couple things. So there's a QR code right here. You can scan the QR code. It'll take you directly to my PayPal where you can make a donation. We're going to be reading either 1 or 3 cards this evening. For $20, I will pull 1 card. For $40, you can get a 3-card spread. Ask whatever you want. When you are taken to the PayPal, please in the memo put your question and any other information that you would like to add that would pertain to what we're going to be pulling cards on for you this evening. And if you guys can do me a favor, if you are watching, please give me a thumbs up and like the stream. It's super helpful for getting that out onto the YouTubes. How's everybody doing? Let's see, we've got David's in the chat. What's up, Sophia, Maria? How's everybody doing? Hey, Rachel. Yes, please like and share. No, we're not moving to Saturdays. We're gonna stay with Friday. I had something that was going on yesterday, so we had to bump this to Saturday. But we seem to have a lot of people that like the Friday night readings, so I think we're gonna stay with it. So yeah, next Friday, we're gonna be doing astrology. And just a big thank you to all of our members. Those of you guys who are members on the channel, let me pull my long list. We've got so many people who are members now. It's so awesome. If you guys didn't know, we have memberships, 3 different levels to support the channel. So if you like my horoscopes, if you like the Sunday videos, if you want to be able to support me, make it possible for me to keep making content and also bring you guys more. Maybe you guys have seen I've done some like free webinars here and there. So I can do that because of memberships, but also I'm putting together, starting in April, I'm going to start doing like continuing education. So I'm going to start talking about the planets through all the signs, through all the houses. So it's really helpful having memberships because it makes it possible for me to have time to create more of those videos. You guys get 3 videos a week and then we do one of the live ones, but I would like to start adding 1 more to each and every week. So that way you guys are getting 5 videos a week. It is a full-time job around here. So it's obviously the last weekend that we're doing readings for the month of January. So if you're a level 3 subscriber and you have not gotten your reading yet, let me know. That's what's cool about being a level 3 member. If you join my level 3 memberships, you're going to support the channel, you're going to get a shout out, but also you get a reading from me once a month. So we've got Janine, Deanna, Coco, Steve, Paula, Sarah, Catherine, Marie, Claudia, Tiara, Stephanie, Emma, Nancy, Jessica, Martinez. Thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate you, along with all of my level 2 people. Got to give a shout out to you guys as well. We got a lot of you guys. Christine, Penny, Flowy Through the Pines, Stacy, Barbara, Maui, Angela, Willow, Susan, Miss Fogel, Jackie, Harazed, and Susan Wexler. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. And let me know if any of my level people are here. I'll get you in. What's up, Sonia? Rachel says, what's up with all the anxiety? Moon's conjunct Uranus right now. It's real fun. What's up, Liz? Mystic Road. We are live. Hey, Barbara. Hey, CJB. Adriana. So if you guys want to get a reading, scan the QR code. It's going to take you to my PayPal. $20 for 1 card, $40 for 3. Put your information, like your name and your question, in the memo, please. Yep, it's right on your sun. It's right opposed my Pluto. Today's been just like one thing after another. When the moon goes through the fixed signs now, because we're in Aquarius season, it's going to like conjunct or square Uranus or Saturn, so it's real fun. All right, so let me go ahead and get into the queue. I'll let you guys know who I have here because I have a couple people already in waiting. Are there any level 3 people? Hey, Sophie. Chillin'. Okay, so we've got Alana Taylor. She's in here. Vanessa. We've got Tracy. Sophia, and I'm not sure who supporting girls football is. Let me know what's your screen name. If your guys' screen names differ, let me know. And then we got Rachel who got in there too. So if you guys want to get a reading, you can get in the queue. Let's see if there's any level people here. I guess not, maybe not. Okay, well if they pop up, we'll get them. What's up, Toddman? Happy Saturday. Okay, it's you, Liz. No worries. I just wanted to make sure I knew who it was. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and get started first with Alana. Okay, so let's see. Alana says, Saturday Live, I moved to a new city 2 years ago. I made a new best friend who also has just moved there. We both had gotten out of toxic relationships and had a lot in common, except that I'm 8 years older. Since then, she's come out and changed. My dog died. My life changed a lot. Each time it's really destabilizing our friendship. She just recently got a girlfriend and we're fighting again because my feelings got hurt over a something minor, and I'm not sure if this friendship will make it or how to detangle from it while still being friends. I'm about to turn 40 and worried I won't find love. So it's hard to be happy for her even though I want to be. Sorry for the novel, but that's the context. Any insight would be appreciated. Okay, Alana, I'm sorry to hear. That's difficult. Moving to a new city and you make a friend and then things change and you're trying to be happy for your friend, but it's difficult when you guys are going through different cycles, you know? So let's see what the cards say for Alana. Sending you lots of love in the time of all this transition. I know losing a dog can be really difficult for sure. I know what that's like. And let's see what the cards say for you. Ooh, that one's like, nope, I don't want to go. All right, let's pull this here. Move that for you. All right, so this is for you, Alana. These are the cards that I get, and this is the order that they were in. Okay, so we've got the King of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the Tower card. Honestly, it's almost like, to be frank, I almost get the impression that there's a sense of being like, can we be cool? Can we maintain this friendship? Can we still have like a relationship? But this feeling that's like there are some things that are going on that may actually just like topple the friendship. You know, the Tower is a pretty definitive card. It's like once the Tower comes up, it's saying, okay, things have happened that we can't come back from. But I'm starting at the end. Let me start at the beginning. So first of all, Six of Cups. So that's that sense of caring about each other, loving one another, you know, wanting to support each other, wanting to be happy, right? And this can also be talking about taking action revolving around the friendship and trying to be like, hey, I want to be there for you, or, you know, I care about you. Being able to have a conversation about whether or not you feel like you can show up right now, right? It's not about whether or not like you want her to be happy. It's about whether or not you feel like you can show up right now. King of Cups coming up with the Six of Cups is sweet. That talks about like getting together, having a reunion, being able to talk about things. You know, if there was another positive card that came up, I would be like, I think this can be squashed by you guys sitting down and talking about this and realizing that there's a lot that would keep you guys together. Because generally this is a card that's about reconnecting and being able to reevaluate and kind of reflect on when you guys had good times in the friendship or in the relationship. But followed with the Tower card, it's kind of suggesting like, whether it's you or it's her, that there are some things that have happened definitively in the friendship that's like, now we can't really go back. Like there's no going back after the Tower has fallen. It can also say that she may treat the situation, because I asked the cards what's going on in regards to your relationship with her. She may treat the situation as like, you know what, things have happened that we can't come back from. I'm wondering if it's like, you know, you have been in a state of working through things emotionally, and then when you guys spend time together, it's like not the same. Like spending time with one another, hanging out, something's not clicking. I don't necessarily think it's because of the relationship. I think it's because there's a sense of wanting to reconnect, Six of Cups, and then when you do, you realize like it's not quite the same anymore. Maybe in the midst of you going through your healing process, you know, she's been focusing on what's going on in her romantic life, King of Cups, prioritizing, you know, finding relationships or trying to kind of connect with somebody, and then you guys reconnect and you're like, it's just not the same. We're not on the same level. We're not on the same wavelength. I think it has less to do with you being in a place of like working through stuff right now and not being able to be happy for her. I don't really think that's the case, because the King of Cups has a lot of love. The Six of Cups also wants to spend time together. Maybe you're just feeling like you're working through things even beyond the dog stuff. You're working through things in regards to your relationships, where you can kind of heal past relationship issues and like opening yourself up to like feeling more comfortable being in a situation where you feel like you can spend time with her and her partner, or you're feeling like you can be, you know, more so open to dating again. But the Tower card is a card that deals with like Mars. So it can be talking about Mars transits that are going on for you currently. As a confirmation for like the bottom of the deck, because I mean, in my opinion, the Tower is pretty definitive. The bottom card that I get for you is the Judgment card. So it's saying like, you know, you can be feeling like, okay, whatever misunderstanding or tiff we had, it's not that big of a deal. Why are you acting like you don't want to talk, or why are you acting like you don't want to be friends anymore? Right? So there can be some very, very, very significant conversations that can be going on in regards to your relationship with her being like, you know what, I just think I need some space. I hate to say that, but that can be happening. I also would say that you can give it some time. I mean, the Six of Cups coming up with the King of Cups can be you saying like, hey, you know what, I think I'm just working through some stuff. It's not that I'm not happy for you, or I just need some more time. Keep in mind though, without that communication and handling the situation much more sensitively, there can be a sense of somebody being like, you dipped out, I didn't hear from you, you didn't respond to me. Like, people can get their feelings hurt if they're feeling like you're not communicating while you're in the midst of your healing. I'm not saying you owe anybody an explanation, but this is about not dipping out. This is about being forward with the fact that you're really going through something and you're really struggling. So you're not leaving her hanging, thinking that she did something wrong, or thinking that, you know, you're ignoring her, and just being on the up and up with the fact that you're just moving through a difficult time. But yeah, there can be some definitive decisions, the Tower and the Judgment card, that's like, I don't know if we can go back to that. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense. That was for Alana. That was for Alana. So she was the first person we did the reading for. Sending you lots of healing vibes in the midst of that. That can be really difficult. Hopefully you guys are able to remedy the situation. It looks like it's going to need some time, so people aren't taking it personally, you know? All right. Thank you. We've got Vanessa. That's next up. And then we'll have Tracy. Vanessa and then Tracy. Let's see, who else do we have here? Hey, Juliana. Hey, Birth of Venus. What's going on? Had to get my Scorpio mug, right? Have to fight those Taurus moon vibes right now. Let's see what's going on with Vanessa. Vanessa says, hey, Candace. The Virgo told me on Tuesday I'm perfect, but he feels as if something is missing and he can't pinpoint or understand why he can't make me his girlfriend. He can't understand why he hasn't fallen in love with me yet. Ouch. He needed a few days to think and told me we'd follow up on Thursday. Well, Thursday came and went. I called and he didn't pick up. He never returned my call. What happened in this dynamic? Why did he do this? My gut tells me someone else is in the picture. If so, was this natural connection, or did they get him via magical things? Do I let this go and remove him from social media and not look back? Will he realize that he made a mistake and act on it if ever? Good questions. That sounds rough. Let's take a look. Cancer rising issues. Cancer rising issues. Lots of miscommunications right now. Mercury's still in shadow, and it's going to come into conjunction with Pluto, so it does sound like getting ready to make a definitive decision about someone. And Mercury is kind of like an archetype for Virgo. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So let's see what is going to happen with this Virgo. What direction are things going on? What happened? And is someone else in the picture? Let's see what the cards say. Okay, so these are the cards that we got in this order, okay? Interesting cards. The Sun, followed by the Nine of Pentacles, followed by the Eight of Swords, okay? So the Sun is a positive card. I mean, this is in the previous position. So it's saying like how things have been. There's been togetherness. Maybe you thought like, hey, everything's good. We've been going out on dates, spending time together, really excited and kind of feeling the warmth, feeling the love of the situation. But the Sun also can be reflecting on energy. The Sun can also be reflecting on vitality, right? And the Sun coupled with the Nine of Pentacles is positive. It's saying like you've been like, everything's great, everything's good, I'm getting what I want, I'm getting what I need. But there can also be this sense of, I think him, dare I say, like lacking in the confidence department. First of all, I think the way that he approached it and kind of communicated sucks, because we've got you riding high here with the Sun and the Nine of Pentacles, feeling loved, feeling super supported, feeling really romantic, feeling really kind of assured about your position and the fact that there is like some growth in the future towards you guys together. Personally, the Nine of Pentacles is a very independent card. So this can also suggest that there is a sense of being with somebody who's lacking in terms of their confidence, Eight of Swords coming up, and looking at the situation going like, well, you know, I don't know what it is, you're perfect, it's just not working for me. Somebody who might be lacking, right, in the ability to think and be open-minded about what the relationship can bring. Somebody who might look at you and kind of go, well, she's independent, she's amazing, she's self-sufficient, you know, and that could be threatening. Dare I say threatening? The ego kind of comes up sometimes with the Sun card. Let's see if somebody's coming in. Okay, no. I also feel like the Nine of Pentacles can be, to some extent, playing it cool. So I don't know what's been going on with this back and forth. I know you guys have been kind of going back and forth for a little while. He came back around. You guys were kind of jumping back into it. But maybe he's trying to get a reaction out of you. You know, the Nine of Pentacles doesn't really rely on anybody. She's like a kept woman. She's good. She can be in a relationship. She can be with somebody, but she doesn't need someone. So I'm wondering, is this a cross between somebody who's looking at it going like, well, I'm going to see if I can get a reaction out of her, right? I might bring her down a peg or two, not intentionally, not in a mean way, but I think it has more to do with somebody who's insecure, to be honest with you. Eight of Swords is like, I'm stuck. I can't get out of this situation. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know how to move forward. Literally kind of sounds like what he said to you. None of these cards seem to suggest that you are... like nothing is suggesting that you did anything wrong. Nothing is being suggested that there's even another person. It seems more connected to the fact that he has limiting views in terms of what's going on. Sometimes, like, you know, you encounter in relationships, you meet somebody and it's just like, I don't know what it is. They're perfect. Maybe it's just they're way too good for me, because somebody's looking to make excuses as to why they're not really showing up in the connection, right? So it's less about other people. It's less about feelings being involved. I think it's more about that he's lacking in a sense of self-awareness, self-love, confidence, seeing that like you're super vibrant and happy and bright and self-sufficient and independent and successful in whatever it is that you're doing. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, maybe subconsciously he feels like he's not on that same level. So it's kind of shitty that he communicated in a way, Eight of Swords, mentally and communication-wise, that like, oh, I don't know, I'm just like stuck here, right? When you're enjoying all of like the sunlight and the happiness and everything over here. Personally, I would say like it's really important not to let this person dim your light. Notice how light and bright the cards are, and then all of a sudden it's like it goes sundown and there's clouds and there's confusion and somebody's stuck. The effect that this can have on you energetically is not positive, both from an emotional standpoint, but also in a sense of security. I feel like with the Eight of Swords, it's not saying, because it's not a major arcana card, it's not definitively saying that there isn't a potential way forward. It's just saying like, of course it's not going to happen as long as somebody is saying it's not possible, or he's not visualizing it, or like he can't understand, he can't see it. The confirmation card is the bottom card. So this is what I just flipped the deck over to take a look at. And I get the 10 of Cups. So it's interesting because this is a very positive card. Generally, this is about like emotions being fulfilled, feeling complete, being able to celebrate something emotionally or in regards to home or family, sometimes even in regards to romance or relationships, because it is the element of water. How I feel is with or without him, like these cards are golden. You may not see that right now. There may be a sense of being like, okay, but you know, what's going to happen? Is he going to come back? Is he going to figure it out? Is he going to realize? The cards seem to be less consumed with what's going to happen to him. They seem to be more kind of like everything's going to be fine on your part, and that emotionally speaking, you may find the need to kind of say to him, you know what, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I have to offer. I know what I bring to the table. If you don't see that, you're lost. Because that's pretty much what the Nine of Pentacles would say. She would be like, okay, whatever, you're lost. And I think the Ten of Cups is saying like there's brighter things on the horizon. And if somebody doesn't want to partake in that, that has nothing to do with you. Like this is a him problem. This is not a you problem. And I think the Sun in the Nine of Pentacles is saying it's a time to reflect on if in the dynamic there has been a sense of like, yeah, whatever you want, everything's cool, like I don't need you, or you know, like we can do this, but not being too overly attached. Be mindful and be aware that there can be this really strong energy that you're giving of being like so self-sufficient and so independent and potentially so detached or like, you know, self-focused that he himself might be like, I don't know if, you know, if I can reach her. I don't know if she's going to need me. I get the impression it's more like he feels like you're not going to need him. And there's some truth to that with the Eight of Swords coming up after these two cards. It's like, no, you don't need him to feel fulfilled, but you do at least want him to be involved and to be checked in. You can't make him get out of the Eight of Swords. That's really the lesson here, is if he feels like he's stuck in that situation, he has to be the one to pull himself out of it. There is a need for him to make himself happy before you guys can come together and you guys can be happy together. So don't feel like you need to convince him of anything otherwise. No, I don't see other people. I'm not seeing this about letting go and moving on. I see this as moving forward and being like, I only want to spend time with people who are going to be enriching my life. And he has to be working through some mental or emotional blocks with this right now, you know? I mean, but these are really positive cards. It's saying you have to let him work through this. And also the Sun, you know, that's a card that's connected to literally the Sun. It's also connected to Leo. We have a full moon coming up in Leo very soon on the 5th. So that might be a time that you want to be watching for, but this is less about you, more about him, if that makes sense. Thank you for showing up. Watch for the Mercury-Pluto conjunction. That's really what's coming at the beginning of February. And that may be when you make a decision as a Virgo as to which direction this is going to go. Thank you guys, those of you guys who are popping in. I'll give an updated list of who I've got. I got a couple people here. Hey Jazz, hey Tony. Okay, I've got Tracy. So we're gonna do Tracy, Sophia, and then we've got, who was that? Liz? Tracy. I'm kind of spaced out, sorry guys. Tracy says, 3-card question, should I continue trying to build my land lease community? I've been unable to take action the last 2 years, and now I think this has cleared. It's for my best interest to move forward with this, or should I leave well enough alone? Okay, good question. So should Tracy continue trying to build her land lease community? It's been 2 years in the making. What do you mean by now you think this is cleared? I've been unable to take action for the last 2 years and now I think this is cleared. Just curious, just so I understand so I can make sense of this. These are the cards that I got in this order. Queen of Wands, Two of Swords, the Emperor. Honestly, The Emperor kind of wrapping this makes me feel really positive about being able to handle the situation and taking action, right? About moving forward. This is action oriented. This is like a Mars card. So Queen of Wands is like asserting your energy, being direct, getting active with something, being able to direct things, like really seeing something through. So I feel like that's really positive. I feel like the Two of Swords is talking about being in this moment where you're like very indecisive as to whether or not you take action. So that's the right now card. It also can talk about like two different ways that this can go and the potential to overthink or get so stressed out about so many potentials or going back and forth that you feel like you can't make a decision at all. Followed by the Emperor card, which can be talking about mastering the situation, being able to handle it, you know, having control, being able to move forward. But it can also be talking about moving forward with help of literally like a significant person. So somebody who's going to have a little bit more, you know, sway in terms of the situation. Is the Emperor perhaps somebody who comes in and manages it for you? Is this you going and talking to a professional? Is this a man stepping in who assists you in some way? Do you go and have a meeting with somebody who says that they're going to help you kind of push this through? Overall, the Emperor is about conquering a situation and being able to make the best decision at hand and being successful, you know, having victory and being able to kind of like have foresight in terms of where this could go. If you're asking me if moving forward is a good idea and being able to like actually build, the answer would be yes. You may see more of this happening for you closer to about March or April. This card has associations with Aries. So you might want to see where Aries is in your chart. We're going to see during the Aries transits, we're going to have 2 new moons in Aries. We're going to have a solar eclipse and we're going to have a new moon at 0 degrees. So that's a lot of Aries energy. Jupiter is there as well. So I think it's just a matter of kind of being like, I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm going to take action. I'm going to see this through. And I say that because the Queen of Wands is literally about creating things, seeing stuff come from the ground up. It's about growth. So it can literally be about development and taking action. Interesting 2 years, 2 of Swords. I mean, maybe you're feeling like, okay, things haven't moved forward. So like, what's the point? But I feel like you might actually find that there is either support or somebody who is a superior who can help you or guide you. And there's a big push forward that's going to happen this spring that's going to help you see this through. Okay. Confirmation card, the Sun. There it is again. So yes, it does look like that's possible. And I like that it's confirming when we get into Aries season for being able to see some of this stuff go all the way through. I'm wondering who that is. Like, is it a male partner? Could it be, you know, working with somebody associated like with the city, or is it a developer? You know, is it a boyfriend? Is it a brother? Is it a husband? Is it a father? There can be a significant person who helps you play a role in seeing this all the way through. Okay. Good luck, Tracy. I hope that that plays out as positively as it seems like it will. We've got Sophia and then Liz and then Rachel. Sophia wants her power reading. Let's see what the cards say for you. No worries. Let me know what your question is. In the meantime, I've got Rachel, Juliana, Tonya, Coding, Sherry, Brandon, and Toya, and Anastasia. So I got all you guys in the queue. We'll leave this up for a little bit longer. So if you guys want to get a reading, Sherry snuck in there too. Probably leave it up for like another 10 minutes or so. Sophia says, what is the romantic potential with Jay? What is the romantic potential with Jay? I get 9 of Wands, which is an interesting card in regards to a relationship, because to me, and obviously I know you read tarot too, this is a lot of like surveying what you've already been through with this person. Okay, so 9s being like, okay, you're getting ready to complete something, wrapping something up. It can talk about the path forward is hard to decipher because you feel like you've already kind of fought an uphill battle, or there has already been some challenge in regards to coming together, in regards to being on the same page. Nine of Wands can also talk about the possibility of you being able to reflect on what has happened in past relationships, or he has been reflecting on what's happened in past relationships, and that this connection and you guys meeting could actually be the push forward into like putting to an end to old patterns. So it's weird that coming together, which could be a new relationship, is also incentivizing both of you guys to kind of finally make peace with the past and like wrap something up, right? We also know that this deals with the element of fire. So there's this sense of being like, I can't be the person who carries the team. Obviously, we know in the traditional Rider-Waite, you see a guy standing there, he's kind of bandaged, and he's like standing with all of the other wands, and he's surveying all of the damage, right? And it's right before we get to the 10 of Wands where it's completing something. So this makes me wonder, like, do you feel like it's one-sided? Are you having to push to do more in regards to the relationship? Are you the one who's carrying the weight and making the phone calls and trying to make plans? Are you the one that's going out of your way? You might be looking at the situation being like, it can't just be me. I need to see somebody who's going to actually be meeting me halfway. So take note to where you're feeling like that the connection may already seem like it's too much work, or that there's too much of a sense of you going above and beyond trying to get this thing to get going. Because remember, he's wounded, right? So he gets wounded in the process. So it's saying that if you're getting your feelings hurt, or if you're feeling like it's exhausting trying to kind of make time for each other or coming together, it's a warning that's like, don't be the person who's going to push this, because you can't do it all by yourself. You know that the next card talks about getting overwhelmed with doing it all by yourself. You don't have to be the one kind of hanging out waiting to see if he's going to connect, right? So if you're feeling like you're getting your feelings hurt, you might need to let him know. It might also mean that it's just time for you to really ask yourself, do you want to take that on? Because it may be a precursor to letting you know, like it could be a handful being in this relationship or pursuing something with him. Perhaps maybe it's a situation where you're going to realize that it could be much more challenging, I guess, to complete. It's not a terrible card though. It's just saying it's a little bit of work. And there's the Queen of Wands again that's popping up. So maybe perhaps it's also saying like you're in a period of time where you're reflecting on more of what's happened in the past, and you're really hoping not to bring about more endings in relationships. You're not really trying to pursue or put your energy into something that you feel like you're going to be the one doing all the work. So watch what he's doing in regards to the connection. It's a terrible card. It's not ideal, obviously, but in terms of just getting to know somebody, I think it's more about don't be the person who's pushing it along. You need to see somebody who's going to kind of meet you halfway. Okay? Good luck. Hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's helpful, but that's not easy. We've got, I think this was Liz, supporting girl football. There you go. Those of you guys who are tuning in, we're going to leave this open for a few more minutes. You can scan the QR code right here. It's going to take you to my PayPal. You can make a donation for $20 for one card or $40 for 3 cards. Ask whatever you want. All right, here's Liz. Hey Candace, thanks for your guidance. I'd like to know if my business project will go ahead, it will be successful and financially lucrative. Libra ascendant, Libra sun, Capricorn moon. Well, you got Saturn that's moving through your 5th house here. So it's wrapping up trines to your ascendant and trines also to your sun. So it's been several years of working hard. So you're waiting for something to fully kind of form, you know, with Saturn in your 5th. Let's take a look if she's going to see a success for her business and financially lucrative. Good questions while the eclipses are still in your 2nd house. Part of the lesson for the 2nd house South Node transit with squares to Saturn in your 5th is creating for the sake of creativity. It may pay off, it may not, and it's learning to not make it be about the end goal. Obviously, we live in the 3rd dimension, but just got to mention that. So these are the cards that I get for you in this order. 6 of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the 3 of Pentacles. So Obviously, talking a lot about pentacles, talking a lot about money, physical things, work, right? And payoff. So the truth is yes, I do see this being successful. However, there does seem to be a sense of it basically saying, maybe you've been at a bit of a crossroads, right? The Lovers card comes up in the center. In the past, present, future. So past, we have the Three of Pentacles. So it's saying like there's been a sense of working hard on your skills, needing to work with other people, focusing on the foundation, building something, perfecting something. So you've been doing that, right? Saturn is about a 2.5, almost 3-year transit. So it can be saying for the last 3 years, you've been really focusing on perfecting this, putting something together that's very personal. I also think that with the Lovers card coming up, like I said, crossroads, maybe, you know, because that has connections to Gemini. Since the summer, you've been reevaluating how you can make tweaks and how you can make changes. If you take a different path, if this has all been as a result of you taking a different path and it's been more of like a passion project that led to potentially a new business that's successful. But this can also be talking about like connection with things that you love, connection with other people. The Three of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles do talk about other people as well, whether this is clients or people who you're just selling to in general. Followed by the Six of Pentacles. So I like the progression from the 3 to the 6. So it's saying that it's building. So you're going to see physically things kind of expand and kind of transform. And that can, yes, bring more money. But the Six of Pentacles is what you put into it is what you get out of it, I guess, in really simple terms. This is talking about an exchange. What you give people, what you sell people, what you bring people, right? And the fact that if you're good to your employees or if you're good to your job, if you're good to your schedule, if you're good to the people that you're servicing, they will be good to you. So there's an exchange here. It can also say that you're focusing on like what you have to offer. So there can be, if you have like a service-based business, you getting feedback from clients or you getting feedback from products and people telling you what they want more of, what they like, what they don't like, and it's helping you kind of finely tune this. So yes, I mean, you're looking at within 3 to 6 months, which is ironic, right around the time that Gemini season lands, that I think you're going to see more growth. I also know as a Libra rising, you're going to have Jupiter going into your 8th house, and that's going to highlight bringing in more money from other people and joint resources. So more money that comes from partners, more money that comes from payoffs, insurance. But Jupiter rules your 3rd. So if you have a consulting business, if you have an online business, if you have a business that's in travel or publishing or anything in regards to 3rd house stuff, you'll see that increase pretty substantially actually once Jupiter gets there in May. So yes, you'll see this growth more so, especially come the summertime. I think I would say stay open because it does talk about taking chances and taking risks and like dipping into things that maybe you wouldn't usually do with the Lovers card coming up. And once again, like I said, before I even put the cards on the table, focusing on passion. It seems to be more about passion. So what you're passionate about, following that through and realizing that, you know, if there's something you're really good at that you really love to do, there's going to be somebody out there who's going to want that service or want that product. You just have to focus on being the best of the best within that field. And I think the Lovers card also talks about you being able to share and express that with other people, and that really kind of shines through. Maybe it's a good idea to be putting out feelers and getting feedback. I would say that can be so important because it can help you really kind of tweak what it is that you have to offer within your business, if that makes sense, right? Hopefully that's helpful for you, Liz. Let me check here. We've got, oh, I see Claudia popped in. What's up, Claudia? Did we get you this month? No, so I will put you in. Let's see. Claudia says, I'm a Scorpio Libra rising, 11/27/78. I've been dating a woman 2/2/76. I'm curious what the cards say. Is this a good fit for me as a girlfriend? Let's take a look. Thanks, Tony, for adding that. All right, Claudia, so let's take a look. Scorpio Libra rising, and you're dating an Aquarius. How appropriate with your 5th house Venus transit just recently, huh? So let's see what the cards have to say in terms of whether or not this is a good fit for you, Claudia. I like that card. Oops, that's a face card. There we go. Oh, sorry, I have not checked my phone yet. Okay, this is the order that I got them in. We've got 7 of Wands, the World card, the 9 of Cups. This is a good spread. 7 of Wands makes me feel like it's either you or her that's a little bit cautious. I'm not saying defensive, but just being a little cautious, kind of being careful as you proceed in regards to this potential relationship. 7 of Swords is like, okay, I just want to feel like I'm on top. I know what I'm doing. It can be about you wanting to get clarity about the potential relationship. I would say it may take a little bit of time to get somebody's guard down, right? Because this is a card that can be about defensiveness or kind of being a little standoffish. Wands is still about passion. It's about having fun. It's about action. So it can be saying like maybe it took you by surprise or it took this other person by surprise. In regards to just the connection and how quick things might have potentially moved, or, you know, I mean, it can also be like, oh, you're interested in me? Like, why? You know, what do you want? Where did you come from? So there's a sense of being kind of thrown off by that. Then the World card's coming up. So it's also saying like cycles are completing. There is positive things on the horizon. This is the final card of the deck, obviously of the majors. So it can be saying like finally wrapping up feeling like you're not lovable, or that you're not worthy of love, or that you're not going to find somebody, or that you're not going to connect to someone. This is also sometimes about karmic reward. So when this card comes up, it can be kind of like, okay, you've worked through whatever you've been working through, or you haven't felt lovable, or you haven't been open, or you haven't been searching. And here you are, the universe is going to give you this little gift. And it's your decision to decide what you're going to do with it. Do you continue old patterns and push somebody away who's interested? Or do you allow that to kind of wash out and really accept what it is that you've been asking for? Such a really cool transit for Libra risings. I know a lot of Libra risings. I'm a Libra rising. I've seen the Saturn transit as like the first 2 years is just kind of a nightmare, and especially with the squares to Uranus. And then there was a lot of like self-love, self-work that had to happen, working on your own expression and creativity. And round about the time now Saturn is leaving, there's opportunities to get positive feedback. You know, in romantic relationships, people can be complimenting you, or they can be telling you what they love about you. With friends, you can be getting lots of support, and also people cheering you on in terms of what you're doing creatively. I love that the 9 of Cups is your final card. I feel like it's like the wish card. So it's saying like, you kind of got what you've been asking for. So why are you being so freaked out and standoffish about it, right? The 9 of Cups is the yes, you get what you want, being pleased, being really happy. Maybe there's a sense of being like, this is too good to be true. Where's the catch? That's how I feel, especially with the 7 of Wands being the first card. That's like, where's the catch? There's no catch. I'm not saying a catch. It's just saying that cycles are completing and now it's time for you to move on to the next step. Keep in mind also that Jupiter is moving through your 7th house in Aries. So definitely that is bringing you the gifts of relationships and communicating more with relationships and feeling like you can like lean into those. And you'll see that even more as the eclipses start happening in your 7th house. So maybe you're a little early. Some Libra risings haven't met that person yet. Don't worry. When you see the North Node move into Aries and the eclipses start in spring, that'll open up. But to me, this looks pretty good, right? Hopefully that's helpful for you. Okay, so we got Rachel, Juliana, and then Tonya. And I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes and I'm going to close the readings. We got 5 minutes on the clock. Thank you for being a member. Sorry, I have not checked my phone. I've been filming. I've been so busy. I will check it. Barbara says, sorry if this has been explained. How do I join the monthly personal reading? You can go to my channel. You can go to, I think, community or the channel tab, and there's memberships, and you just join level 3. And I'll know that you joined because it'll say that you joined, and then you can get a reading once a month during one of the lives. Awesome, Liz. I'm glad that helped. Okay, so we got Rachel. Rachel is back. Rachel says, is my soulmate coming in soon? Rachel, I hope so. Let's take a look. Let's see what the cards say for Rachel. Rachel, get ready. You're gonna have Jupiter in your sign, right? I think you're a Taurus sun. Jupiter's gonna go into your 9th house, and you're also gonna have Saturn go into your 7th. It's time. It's time. And you've had all those eclipses and aspects to your Venus. Oh, girl. I've got you a King of Swords. Generally, that can be a person. So I like it when the response that you get is quite literally a king. King of Swords. So this can be an air sign or somebody who embodies some of these traits. So the air signs would be Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. So watch for somebody like that. Swiftly, we see swift communication. So the element of air is writing, texting, communicating. Sometimes kings show up around the time of their solar transit. So we're in Aquarius season now. So watch out for round about the next couple of weeks before we get into Pisces season. So that's like what, almost 3 weeks. This can also be somebody who looks like this. So King of Swords, generally I see as somebody who's taller. They have like longer limbs. They're a little bit more slender. They have really distinct eyes because they'll kind of like follow you, and they have a tendency to have like kind of like a darker kind of complexion. So in terms of like their hair, their eyes, that kind of stuff. Information, writing, texting. There can be a sense of meeting somebody in an intellectual way, somebody who might write to you, somebody who you might run into when you're, buying a book, or you're, shopping for something and somebody asks you a question, they like start talking to you. But I also think that the King of Swords is somebody who says what he means and he means what he says. And I think that that's why I'm really excited to see him kind of pop in, because if you feel like there's been disconnection in communicating, that you've been going in circles with potential romantic connections and people tell you things but they don't take action, this is very different. Like, you might notice that it's him because he's asking you a lot of questions. He'll be like, so what do you think about that? And like, what do you like? And like, what do you want? And like, they're just asking you a lot of questions. You know what I'm saying? I also feel personally like this can be a sense of also bringing somebody in who's going to be a little bit more intellectual. So they're not going to be like super out there like camping and fishing and like sports, and they're not like super into like art and like music. They're not like a water sign. Like the air signs are more into like science, and they're into information and writing and learning, and they'll want to share stuff with you. And they can seem a little different, especially because you have a lot of water and earth in your chart. So they have complementary aspects for your astrology. I don't know about you, but I have found I'm super like water and earth heavy. Like all my planets are in water earth signs except for my moon. And I really like people who have planets in fire signs, and I really like people who have planets in air signs, because they have elements that I lack. So even though it's very different than a lot of your personal astrology, I think it's actually really nice. And just watch for somebody who's striking up a conversation or trying to talk to you or asking you a lot of questions. And you might be kind of like, what does this person want? Because they're trying to kind of like fill you out and see what you're interested in and where you're coming from. They may actually just walk up to you and start talking to you. But it looks like somebody's coming, and it does look like it's a king. So it's not, you're not dealing with a page, and you're not dealing with a knight. These are generally people who are a little bit more mature, and they stay around. You know what I'm saying? So let me know. Hopefully that person shows up for you. Hey, Barbara. Thank you for joining. Just a heads up. So to get the reading, you have to join level 3. So level 1 and level 2 do not include the reading, but level 3 does. So if you want to join level 3, I am happy to do a reading for you. I have Juliana, Tonya. Who's coding education? I'm curious who that is. We're going to close the readings in just 1 more minute. So if you guys want to get in now. Juliana says, Cancer rising and moon, Pisces sun. What do I need to know about the next steps in my life? Wow, Cancer rising, Cancer sun, Pisces moon, all that water. Nope, we don't even need a bottom of the deck for that card. No more PJs. No more PJs, Cancer moon. Okay, so let's take a look. Cancer rising, Cancer moon, Pisces sun, excuse me. So you got a lot of water there. So what do you need to know about the next steps in your life? Good question. This card is just going to keep popping up, huh? There are 2 of these in this deck, I should say. There are 2 Lovers cards, so I guess that increases the odds of getting the Lovers cards, but you know. So the Lovers popping up is basically saying, what do you need to know? Well, what is it that you love? What are you passionate about right now? Which is a really good question if you're a Cancer rising, right? So you're going to see that we're getting ready to wrap up a really long Pluto transit in your 7th house. We've also got eclipses going on in your 5th. That to me really feels like passion and love and what you're fixated on, what you're focusing on nurturing perhaps. As a confirmation card, I have the bottom of the deck, 3 of Pentacles. So to me, it seems like passion projects. It could be communicating more in terms of talking to people about what you love, investing more time or energy in regards to what you love. I mean, this card could literally be romance. I mean, you may not be looking for it, but it could be. Which seems a little unusual, knowing that you've got some of these retrogrades that are wrapping up in your 7th house. But still, the Lovers card says options, choices. You know, do I have to always do things this way? Why don't I do it that way? I've kind of steered away from doing something that I know might, you know, potentially create some tension. Temptation is a good thing in this case, you know. The fire guy is still a possibility. But it also is talking about union and reflection. Like this card reminds me of a mirror. It reminds me of like bringing people into your orbit that may reflect parts of you that you need to see. So it can be saying going back and forth with another person and having like, you know, a little bit of romance, but then also noticing that's like, wow, they need to work on X, Y, and Z. And then the question is, well, why did that person kind of come into your orbit? Is it to show you that you're not going to buy into the temptation anymore? Is it to show you that you're looking really to not feel like you have to have another person to make you feel fulfilled? Is it because you're seeing things in them that are kind of reflections of you? Right? So the Lovers card is not purely just about sex and romance and your soulmate. I mean, sure, it can be, but I think for you, it's more people coming in and showing you where you've grown, where you've matured, especially with that 3 of Pentacles, like learning what's worth risking, right? Taking risks for. Like the older you get, you're like, I'm not going to chase after that guy, or I'm not just going to like haphazardly quit my job and just say I'll figure it out. So there is a sense of you learning from your past and kind of going like, okay, some things are worth taking risks for and kind of seeing what else is out there. But other things are more just to show me how much I've grown. Yeah. So other people right now are like a major mirror. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But it's great because it's saying that there's like a lot of love and there's like a lot of passion around you, but it's not limited purely to just people. But hey, people might show up in the process. It's a good card to pull. I like that card. Hopefully that's helpful for you. Let's see. We've got Tonya. And Tonya says, oh, now I get coding education. Okay, so you joined and then you got a reading. Hello. Thank you. I understand now. If you guys haven't already gotten in, readings are closed. Readings are closed. Sherry says, when you get to my reading, I want to add to it. I got you, girl. I got you. All right, Tonya, Mystic Road. I'm back in my old job temporarily, but I plan to leave it permanently this summer. What advice or guidance do the cards have? Let's see. Tony, she's back at her job. Are you a Virgo rising? I'm just curious. Are you a Virgo or a Leo rising if you went back to your job? I'm curious. This is for you, Tony. Don't worry. I got you. Mystic. Oh, different Tony. Okay, Mystic Road. Wherever you may be. I guess there's 2 Tonys in here. Whoops. All right, so this is for you, Mystic Road. Let's see. What guidance can I give you on the fact that you're back at your job, but you're leaving this summer? You're going. This is what I get for you. The Magician, the Justice card, the Queen of Cups. Really great cards. You've also got 2 majors. So the cards are like, hey, don't forget what you have planned, okay? You're saying summer, I'm saying early September, right? Let's see. As planets start kind of moving into Libra, we're going to have eclipses there, so I wonder what your ascendant sign is, but the Justice card's kind of timing for me in terms of Libra season. The Magician, what you're manifesting, what you're envisioning, as above, so below. So it's kind of like you're telling yourself, this is what's going to happen. This is where we're going. This is what we're going to do. Don't lose sight of that. You're literally creating your own reality right now. So it's about kind of getting everything together currently so you can get to that point where you can make that segue from your old job. The Magician also realizes like he's got the magic in him. It's just a matter of getting all of his tools and all of his different elements together. So he's got the chalice for emotional connection, the sword for intellect, the wand for creativity. He's got the pentacle because he needs money to be able to kind of fund a lot of the things that he's doing. And he can create that alchemy and he can make magic happen. So it's saying like literally, maybe it's a manifestational period for you. Maybe it's a period of being like, okay, I am going to be leaving over the summer, but you need to do some work to be able to kind of get that moving. Justice card, balance and fairness, what you give other people versus what other people give you. So I'm wondering, did you go back because you felt like you needed a job and it was going to be easier because it's familiar and you have some stability there? But it's also like, man, I'm making sacrifices for myself, for other people. And like, is it a fair exchange? You know, there can be this feeling as you get closer to the summertime that's like, I'm putting more into this than what I'm getting out of it. And even though I'm getting a paycheck, it's like I'm not really helping myself. And then you got the Queen of Cups, which is saying having to pay attention to your emotional balance. So maybe you left before because it was too much for you emotionally. Maybe you felt like you weren't, you know, paying attention to yourself enough. You were kind of getting run down, or you were just starting to notice that it had an effect on you, how imbalanced things were in the past. So it's also reminding you like your emotions are kind of the guide for showing you whether or not it's a fit, and like needing to really listen to your emotions as it comes to like navigating some of these changes. But perhaps it's also saying there's going to be new relationships on the horizon, right? Justice card and the Queen of Cups. There could be a water sign woman that you end up working with or doing some kind of business with. It can also be you kind of going like, I'm only giving myself that long and I'm going to get things in order before I make that shift. So that way I can really focus on what I'm building for myself. There's something like that that's going on. Went back to help them, but didn't to help them out. Want to go in a totally different direction with my career. Okay, cool. So like I said, something about these eclipses, okay, which are going to be starting kind of like September going into October. So watch for that. And equally, I think, like I said, your emotions being a gauge for when you're like, and I'm out because I'm doing way too much for other people and not enough for myself. But you're buying time right now. Do some abundance magic. Do something revolving around that. And there's something also really magical about really setting that timeline and being like, by this date, I'm out of here. So you keep reminding yourself that, and you're getting everything in order between now and then before you can have liftoff, right? Hopefully that's helpful. Sending you good vibes. In regards to that, I have coding, which was Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. I got you. Barbara, let me know what your question is. I will pull a card for you. Taurus Sun, Cancer Rising. I have a job interview Monday. Just wondering how it will go. Okay, great. Got you. Taurus Sun, Cancer Rising. Cancer Rising horoscopes are really great. You guys are going to see so much new career advancement. March, April, May. You got 2 new moons in your 10th house. You got Jupiter there. I mean, just knowing your astrology, we're going to say yes. But let's see what the cards say. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. And I know you added an extra 20 bucks. So I'm going to pull another card or two for you. Okay, so let's see for her, what do we need to know about this job interview that you have got coming up? Barbara's job interview. These are the cards that I get in this order. Ooh, I like it. Hermit, 7 of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune. Once again, 2 majors popping out at you. I'm wondering, like, have you been in a period of being like, I'm not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, where you haven't been able to like find a job that you were interested in? Have you felt like you've been delaying going on a job interview? Have you gone through a period of time of being unemployed? What's the deal there? The Hermit card talks about like having been in a state of self-reflection. So whether you were dealing with being unemployed for an extended period of time, if you just had to take a break from work because you weren't kind of finding your purpose, or you just kind of took time before looking for a position, it's saying you're finally coming out of that phase, right? This is like coming out of your shell now. So it's really good for you, Barbara, because it also says that you've had time to really reflect and like ask yourself, what is it that I want? I don't want to just go and get a job, right? I want to go and get something that I feel like is probably going to be more fulfilling, or I'm going to get something that's going to be more so connected to my purpose. This is a card that deals with Virgo, so it is about purpose, it's about service, and something that also you feel like is going to resonate with you personally. 7 of Wands. First of all, coming out the gate, going to this interview, like being on top. Like there's a sense of you really being on it. They're going to ask you questions, you're going to have answers. It looks to me like they're going to feel like you're qualified for the job, and that also you can think on your toes. They may ask you some things and you're going to have to basically respond in a manner that is going to be, you know, talking about leadership, talking about what you would do in certain situations, talking about how you would respond to something at work in regards to a situation. So the one positive is that you're going to have answers. The one thing I would watch for is just be careful with being defensive, because the 7 of Wands is, it can talk about like speaking too quickly or saying something too quickly. Like wait until you hear everything that they say, take it in, pause, take a breath, and then respond. Equally, I think it's a great card going into a job interview because it means that you may be much more of a competitive person compared to other applicants. So if you're sitting in a room and there's 3 or 4 other people, they may like your responses better. They may like your resume better. They may feel like, you know, it really is clear to them that you really want that position. And they're going to see that you're willing to kind of go after it. And then the Wheel of Fortune is a card that talks about positive swings. So it's saying fortune is kind of in your favor. So just in terms of these cards, I think it's really saying that it's like it's going to pay off. The fact that you took time before looking for a position to kind of really get things in order or figure out what you want. Because maybe you're kind of going to get really excited. You're going to go, wow, I've really found it. And like, this has got to be it. So these cards in general is like a big yes for me. I pulled 2 other cards just to get confirmation for you. And I get the 9 of Swords and the Judgment card. So I do feel like there is a little bit of waiting on pins and needles to hear back from them. And it's like a lot of like, what if I don't hear from them? What does it mean? And like, what if they don't call me? And like, why is it taking so long? But the Judgment card, generally factored with the Wheel of Fortune, does somehow suggest to me that there is going to be a definitive decision that's like, no, we're going to go with you. So there might be some back and forth. They might be debating between you and another person. And I would say, like, don't get anxious and don't get worried about it. It's important to be reminding yourself, like, you're going to be one of the top people I think that they're going to be considering. Don't let doubt creep in. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get worried about it. Because the 9 of Swords can be like losing sleep over whether or not you're going to hear back from them. But the Wheel of Fortune in general is saying that it should be a positive outcome and that they are going to make a decision, even if it takes a little bit longer to hear back from them in regards to this job. So it looks great. And good job taking time, whether you were dealing with a health issue or just figuring out what you want to do before really putting your energy back into the game, because it seems like that needed to happen. I don't know if you were hitting a wall or what, but that break is definitely what you needed because it's going to help kind of rebalance you a little bit. Hopefully that's helpful. Thank you for jumping in there. Sorry you couldn't leave a question. I apologize. Readings are now closed. Those of you guys who are popping in, they are closed. Okay, so now we've got Sherry, Brandon, and then we're going to have Tonya. Sherry says 1 card reading. She added another 2 and she says $20 more for a 3rd card regarding, I forgot to ask my question. So Sherry says, am I supposed to be moving out of my downtown apartment by April? I am supposed to be moving out of my downtown apartment by April. Due to the dangers of a recession and rising costs, will I be successful in finding a home that I'm comfortable in? Thanks. Let's take a look. All right, so let's see what Sherry needs to know about potentially moving in April. What's your rising sign, Sherry? This is the cards that I got in this order. These cards keep popping back up. Sag Sun, Virgo Moon, Libra Rising. Okay, so here's what I got. The Justice card, the Page of Cups, and the Magician. So a couple things. I'm supposed to be moving out of my apartment. Are you choosing to? Is your lease up? What's the situation here? What is the situation? So we're on Sherry. We haven't gotten to Brandon, Tony, or Anastasia yet. Your lease will be up. Okay. So the Justice card coming up with the Page of Cups, worst case scenario, that means on one hand, it looks like there can be somebody who can like help you. Like there can be some assistance that you're getting in terms of being able to find a place. The Justice card is about balance. It can't talk about laws. It can't talk about fairness. So for example, if you were to decide to extend your lease and stay, to me, it seems like there would be some kind of support or something legally that they would not be able to fight. Obviously, they have to okay the lease, they have to sign it, they have to agree to it. But to me, it seems like if you did decide to change your mind, you would have support. 2, this can talk about relationships or partnerships. So Libra coming in, or Justice, is saying it's about balance of other people stepping up and helping you. Could this be a romantic partner? Could this be a friend? Could this be a female relative? Or, you know, somebody who's saying, hey, you know, I need a roommate, or I'm moving out. I need somebody to take over my lease. There seems to be an exchange factor here. So whether it's somebody who owes you a favor and they owe you some support, somebody who wants to support you in the process of you finding a new place and they say, hey, you know, I've got a place for you to go, or I think I know somebody, let me connect you. This involves another person. Being a Libra rising and having a Mercury retrograde in your 4th house, keep in mind the beginning of February, Mercury is going to come in conjunction with Pluto. So to me, it seems like there is a sense of you being stressed out about, well, what is going to happen with my home? Where am I going to go? But it's going to clear. As soon as you see Mercury start coming into your 5th house, it's going to start reaching up into conjunction with Saturn, okay? So that's going to be happening within about a week and a half. That conjunction makes me feel like you're deciding to go in a different direction. Yeah, I'm choosing to leave since the rent has gone up too high. Okay. The other thing is just back burner. The Justice card and the Page of Cups may also be talking about resources as to whether or not they're following the appropriate rules when it comes to raising the rent, however much percent they can. Make sure that if they've raised it, that it's within legal range, because it may not be. But Page of Cups is you're going to find somebody who's going to help you find something. I get the impression it's going to be an exchange. Like the Magician card coming up is saying like, magical things are going to happen. You're going to have the opportunity for somebody to possibly say, hey, I need to get out. You need to get in. You know, do you want to finish up my sublease? Do you want to stay here and take over my rent because I can't afford? Like it's actually going to be a blessing. And if you're finishing your Saturn return, then you know that Saturn is connected to also your 4th house, even if it's in the 5th. I don't know if it is, but it's in Aquarius. So because Saturn is the ruler of your 4th and your 5th house, as your Saturn return is ending, it's about finding a place where you feel like you can express yourself, be creative, where you're going to be closer to friends, or you're going to feel like you're going to be closer to other artists, or perhaps even, I think I would ask my friends, honestly. Anytime I had Saturn transits, and I'm a Libra rising too in my 4th, it was like, well, where are my friends living? Where are they going? Do they know anybody? Like that's how I always found places. And the Magician card is saying like literally doing something ritually or energetically revolving around trying to help you manifest this place. I don't think you're going to have a problem personally. You got Jupiter that's going to be going into your 7th house. Maybe it's a matter of talking to another person who might have rentals that are available. There's got to be a lot of really hungry people out there that are trying to kind of get paid by going and leasing apartments to people. So you might want to start looking and seeing what's out there. You can get in touch with like a realtor who does rentals. And they may be able to find you something, believe it or not, because a lot of places are going to want to get rented. But do something energetically revolving around setting the intention in regards to finding your new home. And I would say start doing that literally as Mercury comes into Aquarius. So that's going to be like within like the next week or so. I can't remember the exact date, but it's going to be positive for Libra because it's going to help them start figuring out, okay, where can I go? And then Mercury will come into conjunction with Saturn. Likely you'll find a place that's private and it's kind of secluded. It may also be somewhere that's going to be closer to like where there's like fun stuff going on, Mercury, Saturn. So it can be closer to like a friend. It can be a property that's behind another property. It can be something that's going to be like closer to art or creative studios and studio places, but it might be like a little hidden. So you're gonna have to look for it. But yeah, I think you're gonna find something. And I also feel like what you don't realize is, and this is true for a lot of Libra risings, the second half of this year is gonna be more about what you're building with other people. So I'm not saying you have to get into a relationship to support your physical home life, but you'll see that this isn't going to be a long-term thing of you figuring out, well, where am I going to live? How am I going to live? What's going to happen? Relationship stuff is going to show up where people are going to help you. So this is about embracing other people kind of helping you when it comes to the home front, right? So it looks positive. Good luck. I'm not seeing any concerns about money at all. That's not going to be a thing. I think it's just a matter of sitting down and manifesting what you want. I've done that so many times. The last time I moved, when I moved in LA, I was manifesting where I was going to live, and I like drew out all of the things that I wanted, and I like sketched it out and made a list, and then looked for about 2 months for a place and was about to sign a lease, and it fell through, and I was like, this sucks. The next day I found, literally just driving around, found an open house for a place that had everything that I put on that original drawing that I did. So I would say do that, especially when you have like a new moon. I would recommend doing that and then see what happens within a month. You might see something kind of manifest. Good luck. You're welcome. We've got Brandon. Outcome for the month of February for me. What's up, Brandon? Let's see what the outcome for February is going to be. Certainly, if you have any fixed placements in your chart, I believe you have some Taurus in there. Things get a little wild. You got some Aquarius in there too, right? I think. Maybe it's just your transits. I forget. So what do the cards say for Brandon for the outcome of February? This deck is being kind of sassy. I'm going to just change decks. Hold up. The outcome for February. Sometimes they just get tired. They don't want to be read. And I have to listen to that. We'll start fighting back. All right, here we go. So this is for Brandon. What does Brandon need to know about February? 2 of Pentacles, weighing out your options, making choices, going back and forth. Do I want this or do I want that? As a confirmation, you get the 4 of Wands. To me, this seems to be about like spending, like what you spend on and what you don't spend on. Like what, like kind of like looking at your resources and going, okay, this is what I have. This is what I want to do. Okay, what do I have money for? What am I setting money aside for? Like a lot of like physical, tangible things. 2 of Pentacles can say that you're also going back and forth in regards to fluctuations and things changing. Notice in the back of this card, you see like all the waves and the ships, which is kind of saying you're getting thrown off by some of the things that are going on around you, which could make you feel anxious and like you're debating something with yourself, or it's hard for you to make a decision. Because 4 of Wands was the confirmation card, I think it's just more about choosing what you're going to feel like you want to invest your time or your energy into. So maybe you're planning out the next couple of months and going, okay, I'm planning on traveling, or I want to take a course, or I want to be able to, you know, afford new furniture. And there's a sense of you going back and forth and trying to figure out, okay, like how do I get a hold of this stuff? What's going to be the most important? You might notice there's some financial fluctuations this month. That's the other way that I could look at this, that There are some things that you're anticipating that are coming that may not come. There's some things that you were thinking you were going to hold on to that you have to let go of. So be mindful that there can be some unexpected expenses. Nothing that's going to break the bank, nothing that's going to be too dire, but definitely a sense of having to make choices and decisions and where you need to kind of trim the fat and cut back and where you need to be investing your time or your resources into, right? But I think it's more in regards to socializing. So you might have a lot of stuff that's kind of on the agenda that you want to participate in, but you're like, I gotta really watch my spending. Equally, I also feel like there is a sense of you might even be doing like more physical work. Sometimes this card comes up that's kind of saying like it's about like lifting weights or focusing on weight or redistribution of things, moving things around. So maybe you're changing your physical routine, maybe you're changing your eating routine. There can also be a sense of you just wanting to do like more weightlifting. That can come up too with the Two of Pentacles. But juggling, right? This is what we see. He's juggling things. So you're feeling like, okay, I'm juggling a couple different things that I'm working on. I'm juggling a couple different things that I'm trying to kind of get going so I can bring money in. So you have to get kind of creative with what you do with your resources this month. Good luck. We've got Tony. Okay, now I've got Tony, Anastasia, and I speak astrology, and then, yeah, I got you, Miss V. You got in there. All right. Okay, this is Tony and Tonya. 3-card reading. Relationship. Should I leave? Business, will it survive? Do you want me to leave that up to the cards and see, or do you want to ask about relationship or business? Which one? We'll see which one the cards say. Okay, these are the cards that I get in this order. This seems to be more about generally overall, this feeling of like things are changing. What can I hold on to? Right? What can I hold on to? More interested in the relationship. We own business together. Okay, so it's kind of together. Page of Pentacles is that physical investment. It's this is what I have. This is what I have started. This is what I've been working on or what I've been able to kind of focus on growing. You might see this as I've started a business. I planted a seed. It has room for lots of growth. How's it going to go? Am I going to see this kind of come fully into full bloom? That Tower card jumping up in between these two makes me a little nervous because it's saying that things are already rocky. Things are kind of already breaking down currently, right? The Tower card are like situations where you're like, okay, we have to deal with this. We can't just ignore what's happening. This can also be saying that things are on the brink of there being issues if there isn't a lot of clarity. So especially like if you're in a relationship and you have a business together, is there clarity about money that's coming and going? Is there clarity about ownership? Is there clarity about what you guys are hoping to kind of get out of this? Because if not, there can be some room for some issues with honesty. There can be some issues also with people pulling some fast stuff. The Magician's a positive card, but when it comes up with the Tower, like there can be a sense of going, oh my God, like I'm having a Tower moment. Like, can I not trust this person? Or is there some sense of somebody not being completely straight up and honest with me? Now, the positive thing is that this is coming up in the end position. So it is saying, even if everything goes to shit, even if everything blows up, like the Magician's like, it's fine. Like we're going to just make lemonade. We're going to turn this situation into a positive outcome. We're going to see it as we were able to kind of just, you know, shift everything. Maybe it's the way that you look at it. Maybe it's the perspective. I feel like there can be some concerns with leaving the relationship because of the time or the energy or the money that you have invested in the business. But I'm going to be honest with you, like the Page of Pentacles is saying, it's not the Ten of Pentacles. It's not everything. So I'm curious how deeply vested you are with this person. Do you guys own some things together? Did you start a business? Do you have a joint account? Okay, but is it a situation where you've gone half on all of your savings? Like, are you all in? Because this seems to suggest you're not all in. He cheated, 2 young kids together. We own a business. Yes, clarity, 36 employees and new contracts. Okay. So, I mean, here's the thing. I would say the Tower is really kind of referencing the relationship and the fact that you can't really go back from what has happened. You can only move forward. At the very least, the Magician is basically saying we need to completely transform the situation. So let's look at the bottom of the deck for a confirmation card. Ace of Swords. Personally, this is just what the cards are saying. I think it's time to possibly sit down and either get something in writing, right, in regards to the business, something that is going to be like solid legally, or it's time to have like a really significant heart-to-heart conversation about the reality of moving forward, that not only are things going to change, but that you are actively using this as an opportunity to possibly start creating or forging a path for a future if things do not change. It's really up to you. You know, I'm not here to tell people whether or not they should stay with a partner after they cheat. Everybody's got their own kind of boundaries when it comes to that stuff. I don't think there's any going back to the way things used to be. That's very clear with the Tower card. But the Magician is making me feel like there is an opportunity here to basically go, okay, we need to come clean about everything, because if I can't trust you in regards to a personal life, how am I going to trust you in regards to the business? And we're planting new seeds and we're focusing on what we're growing. And if we're doing this and there's dishonesty, it's not going to work. So it might be a good idea not only to have this conversation, but to sit down and kind of get a lot of this stuff, at least professionally, in writing. So in the off chance that you are making the decision that you have to move forward and you have to do things outside of the relationship, then you can, you know? It's not cheating necessarily. 3 years ago, he had a child and lied about it. Okay. So, I mean, still, truth. Ace of Swords is truth. It's like, now that the cat's out of the bag, okay, we need to be completely transparent and honest moving forward. But I think the Tower is saying that there are things that have come up that you can't really move on from. And you're going to expect total honesty and clarity. Sometimes the Magician is like somebody who's just smoke and mirrors, you know? I'm not saying he's not honest, but it gets you thinking, like, I'm doing business with this person. Like, what else are they not telling me? Like, what else are they not being honest with me about? You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's a matter of like letting him know that now that you're kind of getting even deeper into some of the stuff that you're developing together, that's not going to be tolerated. And also the Tower moment is like probably in regards to the fact that you're in a relationship and you guys have kids and you're like, there's another kid out there that belongs to this man. You know what I'm saying? And that being something that's like, well, shit, is that going to affect the foundation? Because we have a family unit. There's another kid out there. Like, who is this person? You know, you thought you knew him, but the Magician is very changeable. So I don't think he's shady, but I do feel like there's a need to be very clear. That's like, if there's anything else that I need to know, we should probably get it out of the way now. Just saying. Good luck. But I don't see this being definitive for the relationship. But I do see this being a moment where you have a little bit more power in your communication. So tell him what is and is not going to work. Good luck. That's a difficult situation. I've got Anastasia, and then we've got I Speak Astrology, and then Miss V. Business is thriving. Good luck. Thank you. Anastasia says, is the guy I'm dating moving on? The contact has been minimal over the last week, which is unusual. Here we go. We got another Cancer rising. You know, it's funny. It's like waves. I noticed that there's just certain signs that hang out. We're going to start seeing a lot more cardinal signs now that the eclipses are going to be in the cardinal signs. And a lot of Cancer risings having communication issues. Mercury is creeping up on Pluto. Let's see. So is the guy that Anastasia is dating moving on? What's up with this communication? Aries, Sun, Aquarius, Moon. I like it. Sassy. This was the order. There's that darn Ace of Swords again. I kind of get the impression that if you try to feel this out and ask him like, hey, what's going on? Like, you're going to get a bullshit answer. Just being honest with you. Ace of Swords coming up. So that's like an idea. That's an opportunity to have a fresh start in terms of communication. This can be a phone call, a message, an email, something like that. And you're like, hey, what's going on? I can tell that you did this already. She said, and I did. And you didn't really get a lot of clarity, right? The Moon card. It's like, well, they said something, but it still seems like something's off. Like, what am I not seeing here? You're not crazy. There is something off. Something is going on. I don't necessarily think it's another person. I think that you're dealing with a situation where, number one, somebody's not communicating well. And I don't mean just because they're not communicating, but they're communicating in a way that's not very mature. Page of Swords is coming up. So it's saying it hasn't been fully developed, the communication style. There is a sense of like getting a text here or there, but not a lot, and not a lot of forward motion or making plans. Like, you know, Page of Swords can also sometimes, if they're coming up with other swords cards, kind of indicate like somebody who can be kind of like short, right? So like short responses. And the Moon card is what we're afraid of that is going on at night, what we can't see. It's like, okay, well, is there somebody else? What are they doing? What's happening? I do think that this person is retreating. This is the confirmation card. You get the Hangman. But I don't think it's retreating into not wanting to, you know, talk to you or not wanting to be in a relationship with you. I think this person's clearly going through something, especially with the Ace of Swords and the Moon card. That can be like having anxiety revolving around talking about what's next. Like, it's almost like this person's stalling because they're not entirely sure if maybe they want a relationship, or they don't necessarily know if they are ready for all of the responsibilities that a relationship comes with, i.e. always following up and getting back to somebody, right? So there can be this sense of like them not knowing if that's what they want to do. So they're kind of pumping the brakes a little bit because they may not want to be as easily available. And then the Hangman coming up with the Moon card makes me feel like they're isolating themselves. They're not communicating very well. They're not talking about the fact that they may be mentally or emotionally struggling. And they don't know how to express that. They don't know how to communicate that. They don't really, you know, they don't know how to share. Sometimes the Ace of Swords and the Moon card is holding back and having a difficult conversation, or dealing with grief, or dealing with loneliness, or not knowing how to express some aspect of like mourning. So there's like a lot of like emotional things going on. Do you know if there's been any like sudden changes for them? Did they just lose somebody? Did they just quit a job? Did they disconnect from something? Because to me, it seems like with the Hangman coming up, with the Moon and the Ace of Swords, they're isolating themselves. We did have that conversation last year about the responsibility of a relationship after a bad breakup. Yeah, I think honestly, there's issues going on that doesn't have anything to do with the relationship. And if you've already previously had this conversation and you feel like you bring it up and you just kind of get like BS responses, there's definitely getting in trouble for work at being late. Yeah, but like, here's the thing. He's like retreating into himself. It's not even just so much about your guys' relationship. He's not taking action. He's self-undoing, Pisces, Hangman. It's him, you know, falling into bad patterns, shutting down, locking down because he doesn't know how to process things or deal with things. So I think it's important to kind of like let him know, like, I'm noticing there's a total shift going on here in your mood. I've tried to communicate with you. I'm not hearing anything. You're not telling me what's going on. Like, what's the deal? It has nothing to do with other people. Look at all the colors of the cards, right? Cap rising. Yeah, that makes sense. Mercury retrograde in his first house. But all the cards are really dull. They're kind of gray. They're bland. There's not a lot of life there. And then you've got the Moon and the Page of Swords. Like, he'll come up for air, but you don't want to have to feel like you have to be the one to prompt him. And I also feel like the anxiety and the stress that comes from the unknowing on your part in terms of what's going on, and him not giving you a sense of direction, is not going to work. Revisit the conversation and let him know that when you're not hearing and you're noticing that there's this disconnect, you start to assume other things, giving him the opportunity to kind of correct the behavior and tell you what's going on. But I still feel like what you're dealing with is somebody who has not fully matured in a sense of realizing the responsibility in a relationship, that even if you're going through a hard time, that's fine. Communicate that, right? Because he's shutting down. And this is mental habits stuff, mental emotional stuff. This is mental, the Hangman and the Ace of Swords. Maybe somebody who hasn't connected the dots and realized that maybe they're dealing with what could be like depression, or that, you know, they're kind of isolating themselves. I would tell them. But yeah, he's kind of hiding out a little bit. It has nothing to do with other people. It has more to do with him. Have the talk. I speak astrology. She says, just confirm what I feel. Take your advice. Sometimes it's like talking to a kid. Thank you. Yeah, Page of Swords. It's like talking to a kid. Hey, Barbara. Sag Sun, Taurus Moon, Pisces Rising. Pisces Rising, Sag Sun in the 10th, Taurus Moon. Okay. I have so many ideas, so many. One in particular I believe will be a huge money maker. I've already invested time and money, and I've been a bit stuck lately for months. Should I continue to work on it? It's a good question. Let's look. Well, you understand astrology, so you know that the Neptune stuff that's going on for Pisces is really strong with Mars. So as that's been moving in opposition to your sun and your whole sign 4th, square Neptune, and your rising, there's a lot of like, where am I going? What's happening with work? What's happening with home? And the Neptune squares can be very confusing. But it sounds like you have an idea that'll be a money maker, and you've invested time and money. So should you continue to work on it even though you have been feeling a little stuck? 1, 2. Three. These are the cards that I got for you in this order. 3 of Coins, 6 of Wands, and the 10 of Swords. Ace of Swords. So here's something that I'll tell you, okay? Be very careful who you share this idea with, because I don't see the 10 of Swords as being like, it's not going to work, ironically. I see this as being like, be careful who you potentially collaborate with or who you share this idea with. I'm not saying this to like get you to be paranoid, but like it may potentially be a good idea. Keep it on the down low. Because there is the potential for it being taken or it being copied, or I almost kind of feel like if it's something that you're going to write or you're going to put together or that you're going to start building, like get a website or get it copywritten, like do something like that, or trademarked so it's protected. You get what I'm saying? Because when that 10 of Swords came up, I was like, that's really weird because these are really positive cards, and the 10 of Swords can mean like don't waste your time, it's dead in the water. The bottom card that I got for confirmation is the Ace of Swords. So it was confirming what I was thinking. It's like, you need to do something to protect this idea. Otherwise, you could find that it can be snatched out from underneath you. Be careful. 3 of Coins, working hard, putting something together, putting in the effort. Yes, you've put in time, you've put in money, and you've been building something. And it does seem like you're on the precipice of having success, but this is about like a small victory in the midst of what's going to be like a longer process of seeing this all the way through. So don't get too comfortable once you're getting ready to like launch it or you're starting to see success with the project and be like, okay, cool, we're gonna coast. When this card comes up, I always tell people, especially in the center position, don't get comfortable, keep pushing, keep going. 10 of Swords is also saying like, you know, there is potential to get stabbed in the back. I don't like saying that. There is potential also to get disappointed or find that something doesn't necessarily pan out as the way that you thought it would. But I see this being more in regards to, I shared this idea with somebody and we were going to do this together and then you disappointed me. Or I had this really good idea and I spoke to somebody about it and then they went and copied it, right? So there's some aspect of protecting and not getting too comfortable. So protect your idea, don't get too comfortable, keep it moving. 3 of Pentacles tells me that you've already done some of the heavy lifting, but just intuitively, knowing some of your squares, you really want to be mindful that as Saturn is getting ready to cross your ascendant, it's going to be about you communicating and being direct with people, right? It's like, okay, here's my boundary, this is what I'm committing to. As a Pisces rising, Saturn rules your natal 11th and 12th house. So it's going to be like, do you know, align with other people, with other groups? Do you feel like you need to assert yourself more and kind of define who you are outside of your relationships with other people. It could be very Ace of Swords, because that's about laying that boundary in the sand. And also I feel like this is about being realistic about what you feel like you can achieve within a given time. So you may start to see success, but you might kind of feel like, well, if it doesn't happen as quickly as I want it to happen, it's not successful. No, you want to look for positive transits that are going to be taking place in your chart. Sag has a lot of great things going for them. You know, Jupiter moving into Aries, that's going to be really positive. But I think that there is a sense of just being realistic with your timeline. You get what I'm saying? And protect that idea, because it does look like it's good. Do something to protect that. And if you need to, contracts, NDAs, whatever, anything that's going to protect your intellectual ideas. Good luck. What's up, Marcia? Hi, Ivo. And we got Miss V. Last but certainly not most least. Miss V wants a card. She says, should I accept the job that was offered to me on Friday? I need an answer on Monday. Well, it's a good thing it's Saturday and you have time to think it over. Let's take a look. All right. Ooh, that one jumped too. Six of Coins, which is the card that is about what is being offered to you, but it's also about giving and receiving, things being in balance. Is it fair? That is the question. Generally speaking, this card does come up a lot when clients are asking me about a job offer, but usually it's like more will I get the job? So when it comes up when you've already gotten the position, you have to really ask yourself, do you feel like it's going to be a fair exchange? Notice that there's like scales in his hand. He's focusing on balance and giving back. You've also got, you know, him supporting, giving food to the person who's asking for support. It's about being an equal. So do you feel like you're going into it and it's going to be worth the amount of energy that you're putting into the job for what you're getting paid for the salary or for the hourly position? Equally, do you feel like you're going to have support? Do you have team members that are going to support you? It looks like that's the case. Generally, overall, this is a positive card that's saying what you're going to put into it is what you're going to get back. I also feel like there's possibly room for growth as well, because this card jumped out. I wasn't pulling a card, but Two of Wands is saying there's potential for growth within this position, within this company, that, you know, you could go further. So it's a matter of just getting in there and like really seeing that there could be growth, and then being like, okay, well, what else is there in the future? Maybe a matter of even asking them and saying, is there room for growth within this position? You know, are you going to be potentially opening up other positions that are going to be higher than this? Is there opportunity and room for, you know, transferring to a different department, for getting more in terms of bonuses? Like, these are the questions that you would want to ask. Yes, there is. That's what I was told exactly. Then that's good. Because generally the Six of Coins is like, they want to see you be successful and they want to be successful too. So they're investing in their employees. So if that's the conversation you had, that's a really good indication. And also it might kind of say that it's opening doors for you in the future. So whether it's experience, training within that company, places that you may even go, I think it's a good move, honestly. And nothing here is negative. If anything, I think it's about growth. You're going to be having more growth. You're going to see that you're going to be able to continue to stay with the company and possibly find that the more that they're putting into you working with them, the more that you're going to get out of it, you know? Hopefully that's helpful for you. Unfortunately, we did close the reading, so I'm going to have to send that back to you, Katie. I'm sorry. We had other people that wanted to get in. Let's see. Yeah, readings have already been closed. I'm sorry. No worries. Catch me, we're going to be here on Fridays. I accidentally said Saturday. Fridays. We had to switch up the schedule. But if you want to come back Friday, we're going to be doing astrology next week. So it'll be 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And we're going to try to stick to our Friday schedule, but I'll send that back over to you. So catch us next time. We have Sunday video coming out tomorrow. We're going to look at the astrology for February. I already have horoscopes out if you guys want to take a look at that too. So it's for all 12 signs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the readings this evening. To those of you guys who stayed and hung out with me, thank you. I appreciate it. It's always cool hanging out with you guys on the weekends. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and like this video. It really helps. And if you guys got readings that you're coming back to watch, you can leave comments. I appreciate it. Otherwise, I will see all of you guys very soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.